My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2 as we continue on in Japan on the map based on Hokkaido. In the previous episode we set up this good station here at Shinjo Iron Mine and we started our first couple of trains running on this line, shipping the iron ore over to the steel mill over by Wakayama with a view to also bringing in some coal from nearby. At that point then we'll be able to start producing the steel, and that steel is going to be delivered onwards to the machinery factory over in Wakayama, and then finally the machines are going to be delivered by, well, it'll be by rail over into Uwajima, because Uwajima does have a demand for machinery, and that'll get us some nice city growth up in Uwajima. We're already supplying the food to Uwajima, which is one half of the commodities that they require. So getting the machineries in there as well is going to double the amount of growth, hopefully, that we can see by providing the commodities. So as we can see, our iron ore train has just arrived for the first time and is loading up. There is plenty of iron ore available for the train for a quick full load, and away she goes already, so no waiting around at all for the first pickup, and I doubt there'll be any waiting around at any point because it's a fairly long distance between the iron mine and the steel mill over in Wakayama. So let's just zoom out and get an appreciation for the lay of the land. So this is the line that we built last time out, and we did say we're going to head on to the coal mine today, which is nestled here in this little valley over by Akanmar. Let's just quickly rename that to Akanmar Coal Mine, or Akanmar Colliery. There we go. So the idea is this train line will extend through this rather mountainous and hilly terrain before emerging by the colliery, where we're going to have another freight station for the loading and handling of the coal, and then the train will run back. It'll share the iron ore line, of course, heading down into where is it? Yawatahama. Did I say Wakayama? I meant Yawatahama. If I did, I can't remember. And it'll drop off, and then everything will be tickety-boo, and then we can get the steel down here just by a road vehicle as we discussed, and then the machines will be brought back and then shipped on into Uwajima, at least initially. We can also send them elsewhere at later points, but for now we want to focus on Uwajima. Okay, so let's get started. So we want rail and we want tracks, of course, and what we want to do is, as the line emerges from the tunnel just here, we'd like a set of tracks that head on into there like so. These will be one way, so we'll make our intentions nice and clear early on. So because we have a bit of junction activity here, we're going to want a signal there for the trains to join into this single track line. And we also want one here, which is two-way, so the trains can pass as they're coming alongside to collect the iron ore. On the other end of the platform then, we just want to run these tracks straight out. Let's just have a look where we are headed. Now the train isn't very good here, as we can see it's quite elevated, so we might have to immediately enter into some sort of tunnel to make this as quick as possible. Although I dare say we are going to have to climb at some point, but we can put it off just for a little. And I've noticed I've used the wrong style of tunnel there. I used the invisible tunnel, so let's try that one again. And again, stay flat for now. And what tunnel shall we use? Let's go for tunnel type 1 this time. Hopefully this won't make too much of a mess when we double track it. Now it's expanded it quite nicely. It looks nice and tidy and a little bit modern. Now we can put the signals in. So we'll have a signal there and just there, just so the trains know which way they're going. Can we have a signal on here? No, we cannot. And I dare say if we put one just there, which is the closest we can put it, eventually our trains will start overhanging and blocking in this junction. So we might have to leave that as is for now. At some point we could double track the tunnel, and that'll mean our trains that are headed through the iron ore station onto the colliery can wait in the tunnel before merging into a little bit of single track there where it splits, but we'll deal with that a little bit later. And now we want to focus on getting the colliery connected. So let's first of all put down our cargo station. I think for now we'll go for we'll go for 2 tracks. And as per standard, we want to go 320 meters. Now, what is this going to look like? Is it going to look horrific? Pretty much. But it is what it is. We'll have to deal with it. And let's just rename this to Akanmar Colliery as well. Let's see if we can do anything with this terrain here, just to take off the worst of these artificial ridges that I've generated. Okay, so I've flattened an area out. That has led to these undulating ridges alongside the platforms, but I do think if we then use a smoothing tool, it will get rid of the worst of that. There we go. And then just blend the cliffs in a little better so they're not as steep and as severe. There we go. That looks a lot better. A little bit more natural looking as well. Oop, can't see what we're doing because of the trees. Yeah, it's looking absolutely fine. So now we can, in fact, we'll work from the colliery end down towards the iron ore station over there. Now, I got a feeling most of this is going to be hidden away inside a tunnel. And we'll go back to the standard tunnel, I think, for this one. Now, we're going to have to, because of how close everything is, put a crossover inside the tunnel. Let's take it a little bit further back, and we'll go about there. Now, hopefully this doesn't look too bad inside the tunnel on a cab ride, but we shall see in the future what it looks like. And what we want to do now is just basically build a straight track straight through towards the iron ore mine. Now, as we can see, this is going to be crazy expensive. Oh my word. What's that? About half the distance, and we're already at 25 million. Okay. Okay, that's a little disconcerting. What we could do, I think what we will do, is if we have the track head towards Shinjo, and then maybe cut in here, I think that should work okay. We'll let the game determine the terrain height that it's gonna what's gonna be best suited. Maybe if we go like that. Sure, we'll go for that. So it is climbing, but it's not as steep as the game initially wanted it to. What we'll also do is first of all start the game, but we'll have it at 1/4 speed because I want to run at 4 times acceleration, just so we can build up the funds to hopefully get this done in today's episode without too much waiting around. Okay, so now you're emerging from the tunnel, and I dare say we'll be better off hugging the side of the mountain just a little more rather than having a huge viaduct. And there we go. Look, we've already exhausted our funds. Did spend about 5 million doing the terraforming around the colliery station, which wasn't helpful. So what we're going to have to do is just wait a short while until our funds accumulate and we can press on. What I'll do in the meantime though is put a few signals down through here. Don't need too many. I think we're going to have at most maybe 3 or 4 trains running down here. So just as long as we've got enough to keep the trains nicely spaced out, that'll do for now. We don't need to be too excessive with the signals. But we want a few just so we've got the blocks available for the trains, so they're not having to wait around too long to progress on their journey. Okay, so we've got about 2 million, so we should be able to put some more track down, which is obviously always a good thing. Which way are we headed? Right, we want to be mindful that the station is here. So we really want to start heading down this way. This tunnel, I'm going to guess, will be about 15 million. And if we emerge here, then we should connect in relatively nicely. So let's see how far we can take this with the money that we have. So into a tunnel there. Make sure we actually select a tunnel texture. And we'll go for tunnel type 1. That seems to be the cheapest. Obviously the invisible tunnel is even cheaper, but it just looks daft. So we don't want the invisible tunnel, even though it would save us quite a bit of money. Now I've noticed there, that line drops down quite severely when we could extend the gradient a lot more so it's less severe, especially on the return journey when they're going to be full of coal. So let's just do that. Let's just delete this middle section of track between the two tunnels and then go for a straight shot, and hopefully that will make it look a little smoother. It looks exactly the same. Well, the only way to do it, I think, would be to delete some of the tunnel. And while that's always a possibility, and it's probably something I will do in the future, right now I don't want to waste the money just deleting the tunnel just for the sake of a bit of a gradient here on this line. It'll be fine. I'm sure the trains will cope with it okay. In fact, do I want to do it? Yes, I'm going to do it. Okay, so I've got rid of the tunnel now. Let's see how it would look if we just do a straight connection. That looks better. It doesn't seem to be climbing up nearly as much as it was previously. Yes, we'll take that instead and we'll drop back to the standard style tunnel just to save a little bit of money. Oh bugger, I messed that up. Let's try that again then. Wasting all the money today on this, not only with the extensive and expensive terraforming, but also messing up all the tracks. Right, we'll go from pretty much the mouth of this tunnel here, and we'll straight shot it from this point and see what it does for us. Right, are you connected in this time properly? Yes, you are. That's much better. And how does it look in terms of tackling the gradient? It looks much the same as it did before, I think. Never mind, we'll just go with it. So, probably wasted a bit of money there. Money that we don't really have to waste, but there you go. We've got a signal there. We'll put one just before this tunnel as well. And let's see, 3 million. It's not going to be enough to complete this, I can guarantee that. But it would be interesting to see how much it is going to charge us for this tunnel. 5 million, is that what I guessed it would be, or did I say 12? And is that using a tunnel texture? No, it's not. Okay, let's put a tunnel texture on. 17. Whoa. Big increase. Big increase. But I'm not going to game it. I'm not going to take the cheap option just so we can get it done quickly, because it will look so bad. So what I'm going to do is, while this is accumulating some money, I shall pause the date progression so we don't miss any unlocks. In fact, let's just see if we get anything in 1892 first. Come on, 1892. No, we don't. So now we'll pause it so we don't miss anything. While the game runs in the background and gets the money that we need to complete this line, I'll go make myself a nice cup of tea. And obviously I'll put a jump cut in the video at this point, so rather than watching the money tick up slowly, we'll pick it straight back up when we've got enough to get this completed, and also we'll give ourselves enough to purchase the trains that we want to run on this line as well. So we'll aim for about 25 to 30 million, which I don't think should take too long now. We are making decent profits, so I shall see you from your perspective, a few seconds. From mine, probably about 10 minutes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have completed the tunnel work into the colliery station, and I've put a few signals in there as well. and that's also double tracked all of the way. So that is now ready for the line to be set up. So let's make a start on that, shall we? So we want to go for a new line, of course, and we're coming from the colliery station, and we want it to be black in colour. That's the colour of the coal, and we're heading all the way down here. It's quite a journey, as we know, and we're heading into Yokohama Steel Mill. He's opted to go for platform number 2, which is fine. That'll leave platform number 3 for the machinery to be shipped out to the various cities where it needs and where there's a demand for the machinery. So that's all good. It's got the same colour as the shuttle line, as we can see, but it is running on a different track, so there should be no confusion as to which line is which in that regard. Let's set up all the configuration settings. So we want to be fully loaded at the colliery, and you can wait for as long as you require for a full load, and you're only loading coal. Don't have to do this, of course, but I like to do it for completion's sake. And you're unloading the coal at the steel mill. Now in the future, we may just want to go ahead and have a dual load train that loads the coal and the iron, so cut down from 2 lines to 1, but for now we'll keep it as it is. As we can see, it's separated itself through these pass-through platforms. Obviously it's got no option to do that because this platform here just terminates, it doesn't go onwards anywhere, so that's all fine. Let's give it a more appropriate name, and this is coal freight, and this is Akanmar through to Yokohama, and we'll do the same with what we did there, just call Yawat with a full stop just to abbreviate it so it's not quite so long. So coal freight Akanmar to Yokohama, that's all good. I doubt we'll be able to afford the trains that we want to run on this just yet. What I would like to do in the meantime is do a bit of work on this junction just here, where we separate from our passenger line and head onwards up towards the colliery and the iron ore mine. I'd also like to think about double tracking at least some stretch of this passenger line. Let's resume the game and we'll go for half speed. Let's burn through some of these early years now. Yes, I'd like to double track some of the passenger line as well. At the moment it is all single track, which means we're limited to just one train. As we can see, it's a very popular service, so having multiple trains run along here would make good sense. So let's make a start on double tracking this, shall we? We should be able to afford to do most of this, if not all of this. And we'll keep it as high speed as possible. So at this point is where the dual tracks are going to begin. That's pushed the bridge feet out of the way nicely without any hiccups, so that's fantastic. And I'm running it on the left hand side because I'm obviously aware, as we can see here, we do come in to the freight line on the right hand side, so we wouldn't be able to run it on the right, so that's where we're going on the left. And we'll quad track it most of the way. In fact, I think we'll probably quad track it all of the way. Hopefully we'll be able to quad track over this viaduct here without causing any issues. Indeed we can, so that's all good. Might have a slight issue here with that road. Yeah, we've got a bridge pillar collision on this road here, so let's just delete that road and we'll put our train line down, and then when they rebuild it they'll take into account the... Okay, what do we have here? Another bridge pillar collision. I don't understand where the collision is taking place. Is the bridge colliding with itself, do we think? Well, if that's the case, we'll have the passenger line single track over the over this viaduct here. So we'll merge them back into a single track there. This can all be single tracked, and I dare say the tunnel will have to be single tracked as well, although we don't have a lot of space here to double track all of this. So what we're going to have to do temporarily is just pause it, and we're going to rework this junction here. Okie dokie, so our passenger train goes straight on like that, And in fact we will double track this, and we need our freight line to cross over as smoothly as possible. So if we go like that and like that, it might be a little slow, but that's okay. And then like that and like that, that should work nicely. And we've got only a small space where the services intermix, so that should be all good. Hopefully we can do the rest of this quite nicely. What we will do before we continue double tracking is we'll put some signals down here, because that will enable us to unpause the game so we can continue accumulating money. So we'll put a signal there as well, and we're going to want a clearing signal, I think, for the freight line. So if we put a clearing signal just inside the tunnel, I think that will be fine. And maybe put another set of signals, not there, that's not going to work, that's going to mess everything up. Another set of signals there. Now we can unpause it. Let's go back to the track laying efforts. So could we double track quickly here? It'll be a bit slow, but we can do it. We might have to change that up in the future when we get really high speed trains, but for now I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. And if we connect that in like that, then this can continue through the tunnel as a dual track. Where are we? God, I forgot how long this tunnel is. Oh, we're nearly out. So I don't think it's going to take too long to get the money to do this. 4.5 million. And as you can see, we've double tracked it here, but as luck would have it, we're on the wrong side. So we'll have to just rearrange this and have it merge in properly. So we'll do that now. So again, we'll just quickly pause it here. Take these tracks back so we can get a nice, smooth, straight connection into there. There we go, 75 miles per hour. That's wonderful. Now we should be able to unpause it, and every train should be happy with their lot. And we'll put a couple of blocks in here. We'll put one in the tunnel as well. We're probably going to need a clearing signal on the passenger line as well, but that's fine. That train has now got itself all kinds of confused, which is not good. But we can head it back to to Yawatahama. And if we chase it back with the signals, then on its return to Sayo, it should be all good. So we want a stopping signal for the junction, of course, and we'll have that there. Clearing signal there. We want a stopping signal approaching from this direction, and again a clearing signal there. And then if we just multiply or duplicate these signals here, we should be all good to go. What we don't want to do, of course, is get ahead of the passenger train. There it is now, because that will confuse it. Where is it now? Okay, that's fine. We can put this block in. The signals are interrupting or interfering with each other a little, but it's fine. And we'll have another block just here. And I might even offset these just a little, just to tidy it up. So as soon as this train gets into the station, it'll be happy all the way back to Sayo. Let's put a clearing signal there as well. Okay, so that's all sorted. Now we can reverse it once again, and yep, it can path its way through to Sayo without any issues. And there we go, we've got our quad track. We've improved or expanded the size of this junction, so there should be less waiting around, and we have minimal interaction between the two lines, the freight and the passenger, which is always useful. Okay, now I think then, I don't know if we'll be able to afford the train at this point, but we can certainly give it a go. Like last time, I think even though we're buying a freight train, we are going to have to use the passenger train depot, which is this one. Because, oh, would it be able to find its way by coming down here, turning around and then heading back? Likely not. Would we be able to fit in a connection in here? We would. And the speed doesn't matter, it's only for accessing the freight line. So we'll go for that. Yeah, that will work nicely, so we can indeed use our freight train depot. So let's go to buy vehicles. No new trains unlocked as of yet. Which one do we want to use for this? I might go for the Fairly just to have something a little different, although it's quite slow. 28 miles per hour. What is our wagon speed? 31 miles per hour. So that would be sacrificing 3 potential mile per hour. Whereas if we went to that, we would be wasting 6 miles per hour. I'm going to go for the Fairly just because I can, I think. Yeah, it's a bit slower, but it's got nice tractive effort. So let's go ahead and build our consist. So we're using the gondolas, of course, and I think we'll go for 10. What sort of speed is that doing? I see it struggles a little there. 24 miles per hour on a medium grade, and we do have some quite substantial grades, so maybe we will need to rethink what train we're using and instead go for the OB. And as you can see, that still maintains 31 miles per hour on a medium grade, and I dare say we could even increase the consist length a little. There we go, 31 miles per hour until get up to top speed in just over a minute and a half, or just under 1 kilometre. And we are going a fair distance, so I think we can live with that. So that's 12 wagons on this consist. We need to colour them, so we'll do that as we build it. I forgot to do it there. So there's 10 and there's 12. 4 million for this train, so we'll buy one. We are going to have more than one eventually, but for now we'll stick to just the one. And what we want to do is zoom out so we can see the coal line in our field of view, which should be just here. There's a Canmar. Is that the colliery that we use? No, it's this one down here. So now we should be able to assign it. Okay, you can't find a path to the stop. Right, why is that? Just give me a second here. I'm going to trace this out and make sure it should be able to get where it needs to go. You can cross over there. You can come over here. And, that's why. This just kind of stops quite abruptly, doesn't it? Well, let's extend it, shall we? How far away are we from where the freight line meets the passenger line? Looks like we're a fair old distance. Indeed we are. All the way past Sayo, all the way past there. And it's only at this point that it meets up. So what we're going to do then is we're just going to have it drop onto the passenger line for now. Where was it? I've lost my bearings. Yeah, is this it? Yes, it is, just over the bridge. So we'll share the tunnel. And then as we emerge from the tunnel here, before we head into the next tunnel, this is where we're going to put our merge point like that. And we'll have a signal here so the train can head at least this far without having to wait for any sort of clearance. Let's head back to the depot. And again, zoom out so we can view the line in our field of view. There it is. Now you should be able to find your way. Indeed you can. So there goes our first coal train. I think we'll have a... come over here and have a quick look at her as she leaves the depot. Let's hop over this side quickly so we can have a look at Uwajima in the background. Let's just climb up a little. There we go. Watching the trains pass by, and hopefully now you'll get clearance after that train is away. Although there is another one coming. So you might have to wait for clearance when this next train has passed. Okay, there's nothing behind. You've now got your clearance and away you go. Cross over here. And then you're going to take this little branch line here. Yep, perfect. And then we'll leave it because we've just gone into a tunnel and it's going to clip the terrain quite strangely. So yes, there we go. So now we should start seeing coal being populated at the colliery. Indeed we do, as we can see right here, 115 units and rising. Shall we put down, where are the buildings? Cargo buildings. Oh no, it's the... Yes, these... Oh, okay, no, they do... Oh, you can even see what the capacity is. That's... Never noticed that before. So 40 items, 30, 80 items. What about we put some of these down just to increase the capacity? Because it's going to be a fair travel time for the trains, even when we do have multiple. But this will allow time for the buildings, or for the colliery, to really stack up the platform and pretty much guarantee we've got plenty to be picked up when the train arrives. So we'll put a few more. Can we squeeze that one in there without messing anything up? Yeah, we can. There we go. So increase the platform capacity quite nicely. That's all good. Okay, so now that we have the iron coming in, and relatively soon we're going to have the coal coming in, we can think about setting up the delivery line into the machinery factory for the steel, not for the stool. We're not transporting poop down there. And how do we want to do this? Do we really want them to be coming through town like this? Or would we rather have a bypass and avoid the town of Yawatsuhama to cut down on the traffic? Well, the best option has got to be a bypass, and I think we're going to be able to afford it. Well, let's go ahead and go with that. So we'll have it. We don't want to climb that severely, really, although having a bit of a gradient isn't too bad. And we're going into a tunnel, that's fine. And we'll just now let the game elect to choose its own gradient. Another tunnel there, that's fine. These aren't invisible, are they? No, they're not. Panicked then. But you are colliding with... I've got no... What are you colliding with? You shouldn't be colliding. There's nothing there to collide with. Okay. Well, let's keep you flat. And you can come this way through instead. We are quite a ways up, so we'll keep it flat again. But we don't want a tunnel here. I'm going to say we'll have some embankments instead. Again, you're colliding, although I'm not sure what with. And then we'll bring it out. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that will work. Nice floating trees. I am not entirely sure what's happening there. Let's just get rid of some of these trees, shall we? Let's turn the brush size down. Okay, we cannot get rid of them. Can we bulldoze them? We can. Maybe that's what it was colliding with then. Maybe it's classing this as some sort of road. Not entirely sure, but we can get rid of them eventually. Not the easiest things to select to delete. There we go. Any more up here? Doesn't look like it. What about along here? Yeah, we've got a couple here. So yeah, this must be what it was colliding with. Come on, select it. There we go. Any more? Yes. There we go. Hopefully that's the last of them. That was far more uncomfortable than it really necessarily had to be. I'll do a bit of terrain smoothing now, I think, just to take off the worst excess from these ridges here and along here. Smooth all that out very nicely. Wonderful. Do we want to smooth this? Yes, we do. And we'll smooth the entrance to the tunnel as well. Yes, so we can prepare now and get this line set up ready to go. At least we can get all the infrastructure in place. So let's go for a building. We're only going to need one platform here, unless steel is required anywhere else nearby. No, I don't think it is. So yeah, just the one platform. We want 30 meters. And we're going to put this right here, I think. There we go. And I'm also going to extend it a little as well, like so. And then put a few of these cargo buildings down. As we can see, these have capacity for 75, so we'll just spam a load of these down. There we go. That'll work. Let's just rename this to Yawatahama Steel Mill. Make sure we don't call it a stool mill again. There we go, yes. Okay, so we want a new line, and we're coming from the steel mill. We'll keep that colour. It's a bit darker than the game icon, but it's close enough. And you're coming into here. Yep, that's fine. You are taking the bypass road, which is good to see, and you're not crossing over at any point either, so well done. And this will be steel haulage, and this is just Yawatahama. Let's just make sure we actually set the line, not statistics, that's not the right word at all, configuration. So fully loaded, yes, keep that colour. I didn't select fully loaded, so I will select it now. I just changed the stop time, there we go. And I dare say, eventually we'll have it bring the steel back. Sorry, not the steel, the machinery. In fact, yeah, we'll do that. We'll set that up now. And load whatever's available and only wait for 30 seconds. And here we want to make sure we actually unload the machinery. So loading machinery, unloading steel at the machinery factory, and at the steel mill we are loading steel and unloading machinery. That's perfect. I'm going to say we'll get a second road vehicle depot out here as well. What do we have here? The JNR class 5500. We can take a look at that in a few moments, but for now let's just get some road vehicles ready to go. We can't use this one because this does not accept machinery, so we're going to have to go for the flatbed. There's not much in it, to be fair. In fact, this one's a little lighter and a little quieter. Yep, so that's what we'll have. We'll go for 15. And these are, is it that colour? I think it is. So for a while, they're not going to have anything to do because the coal hasn't yet arrived down here, and without the coal they can't produce the steel, so they're going to be waiting for something that isn't being produced, but that's fine. So we just unlocked the JNR 5500, and since this is the nearest train, let's just have a quick look at it using this train as a dummy. So locomotives, so at the moment this is the OB, I believe. No, it's the PV. So 40 miles an hour, 360 kilonewtons, 45, so faster, ever so slightly less tractive effort, but that's negligible, and a lot more power. Well, we may as well have it, because why wouldn't we? Eats up the gradients quite nicely, and even does pretty well on a high gradient. 39 miles an hour isn't the worst. So let's purchase that, and let's find the train, and we'll have a look at her. I think this is the first modded train or asset train from the workshop that has made an appearance in this series. I do think the ones we've been using thus far are all vanilla, so it's good to see a modded asset finally make an appearance in the game. Looks quite sleek, decent enough, no complaints about that really. And the increase in speed and power is always nice as well. So there we go, the JNR class 5500 has made her first appearance. Here's our coal train on her way as well. We can duplicate that now, we have plenty of money, so we shall go ahead and do that. So it's just approaching the Junction interchange. It's going to have to go all the way to the steel mill to turn around, but that's not too far. As we can see, it is quite close to the junction. How's our iron ore line doing in terms of finances? Let's have a look. 3 million. It's just made a delivery, as we can see, so it's making about 2 million per delivery. Let's have a look. There we go. Profitable every year by quite a comfortable margin, and I dare say We could even squeeze a third train in on this delivery line. Or what we could do is pause it. We could actually think about boosting the amount of wagons in the consist. So let's go and do that. So if we added another 2 like we did with the coal train, we want to do both of them, of course, so make sure we do select both. So yep, as we can see, pretty much the same as the coal train. Let's have a look at the PV, sorry, the OB. This is definitely the OB. Yes, it is. Okay, so yes, this is going to be better for freight. It is slower, but we can't utilize the full speed anyway, so it would be wasted. And it has got increased power and tractive effort, so we'll stick with the OB on these, but we will increase their consist size to 12. Didn't mean to do that. Let's restart the game. We're in 1894, so progressing quite nicely. When we get to around about, well, maybe in the 1900s, we'll slow down the calendar speed just so we can experience the golden age of steam a little more. We need to complete this road here. It's been bugging me every time I look at it, so let's do that nice and quickly. There we go, that's that road reconnected. Also need to reconnect here because it just stops rather abruptly. Okay, so you won't do it like that. Let's keep you flat. What if you come out there? There we go. That'll work nicely. Bit of clipping there, but that's fine. We can just disregard that and pretend we never saw it. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna have to do, and I think it'll be in the next episode, is first of all wait for the coal line to be properly bedded in. Here comes the coal train now ready to turn around and head off to the colliery for its first delivery. Once these 2 trains are bedded in and they've spaced themselves out and whatnot, we need to think about extending the freight line this way. Obviously at the moment it does go up towards the iron mine and colliery, which it needs to do, but we also need it to continue straight onwards because we need it to head into Uwajima, so it's got to come all the way along here through this huge tunnel, past Mima, and then on into Izumimachi and Uwajima. So that's going to be a very, very costly venture just because of the length of some of the tunnels we're having to construct for that. So what I will do is between episodes, I'll let the game run. I'll boost the funds as much as I possibly can. I think we're going to need, I'm going to play it safe. I'll go for about 40 million, I think. In the meantime, can we do this at all? Have that continue? I think we could if we got rid of that signal, you know. Yeah, we can. Like that. So we know where we are going with our freight line. We're going to need signals here, so we'll put the signals in anticipation. We want one there, just before the junction, and we want a clearing one over here as well, so we'll put one there to clear the freight junction for any freight trains that are wanting to join in. This line will then just continue onwards, and we'll, as I said, take it all the way up to Izumimachi, and everybody will be happy and happy. Yeah. This road needs a quick redo, so let's do that. Right, how do we want to navigate this? Well, let's take it back and we'll have it tunnel underneath the train line's elevated, so it would make sense for the road to dip into the ground. So let's do that. Got the autosave there, so let's have a quick drink, or a long drink, because it takes about, well, it takes a couple of minutes to autosave. There we go, that's the autosave gone away. That's that road reconnected and looking a lot better. What I'll also, in fact, what I'll do while I'm waiting for the funds to accumulate is these new stretches of double track, I will run over them with the ballast terrain brush to get rid of the grass that has started to show through the tracks. I don't like it at all. It always annoys me. But for that will be between episodes. I'm not going to do that on camera because that would be frightfully dull. So now it's time to, I think, wrap things up for today. We're not going to take a ride on the coal train because we took a ride on that, well, on the iron ore train last time around, and it's only going the same way. It's a little extension onwards, of course, but it's primarily tunnel there, so nothing too interesting to watch from the train's perspective. Can we find, is that the other, no, that's a shuttle. Maybe we'll take a ride on this one just for a couple of minutes for an outro. Yeah, why not? So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode and you're continuing to enjoy the series. If you haven't yet done so, feel free to check out the City Skylines series that I've recently started. We're doing a UK themed city on Cities Skylines. I'm not very good at City Skylines. I don't have that that natural artistic inclination, but I still enjoy playing the game, even if it sometimes does look a little bit rubbish. So yes, all that means we'd say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.